For the last month or so, the main light, or sometimes the only light that I've brought with me on set, is the Forza 500 first generation. As I continue to work on more and more projects, primarily as a one-man band or a two-man band, the amount of lighting I bring on set can sometimes be cumbersome, especially if there are time-heavy constraints. Sometimes certain projects or films don't require as many lighting setups. Or mainly in the case I kept running into was not having enough power to keep subjects in bright, sometimes even overcast situations due to only having softer, lower wattage lights, which are perfect for interiors and night scenes. But once you start needing to compete with the sun or find yourself needing one large setup that you don't have to adjust much during a shoot, a powerful light like the Forza 500 is just a no-brainer to have. Here's a couple shots from a doc I'm shooting, and we have our subject sitting in his room with a ton of windows, about 5 to the left of our subject and 2 behind her. I had the Forza 500 going through a large softbox the entire time and just walked that fixture around to wherever my subject would end up, adjusting exposure each time the sun would dip behind the clouds. Positioning our light at that 45-degree angle gave us that dark side that we wanted on our face. I added some darkening around my subject in post to help her stand out from the background a bit and take the exposure off those walls and that window. You can also see that window from behind providing some nice kick on her head right here. All in all, I think we were able to get a pretty nice image using just this one light. Another way you're limited though when using lower powered soft units is the amount of ways you're able to manipulate the quality of your light in the scene. Take this scene for example. I wanted a better or softer quality of light for this close-up. So the first shot could work, but I wanted something a bit less sourcey. Both shots I used a softbox attachment with a grid. I also had a Roscoe Sun CTO filter, but to get that light even softer, I also added an extra frame of diffusion in front for this close-up. We lost a couple of stops of exposure, but with my Forza being only at 35% at the start, we have a lot of wiggle room to park that exposure where we want, or even soften it further if we want to. Before I got the Forza, I was using tungsten lamps, and I really did like those, and they taught me a lot. And I was able to have more options and quality of light due to more power, and the adjustability of the RE Fresnel beam also opened up more options to create texture in the frame. But they got far too hot to lug around, and I constantly had to reset breaker boxes, and they are just flat out outdated for regular everyday shoots. What those lights do for skin tones though are absolutely beautiful. Can't deny that. That said, this light is a workhorse and a perfect addition for the one-man band filmmaker, especially if you already have a few panels, tubes, cob lights in between 60 watts and 200 watts. The power output just allows so much more versatility and ability to utilize larger setups, which I can't wait to experiment more with on shoots. That's all I wanted to share for this one. A quick look at the way I've been working lately using mainly one source. But before I go, I wanted to let you guys know that micro budget feature that I shot is now available to watch here on YouTube. We had a premiere here a few days ago at Studio 35 here in Columbus, and the turnout was pretty good. It was so dope to see the image from the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 4K blown up on a big screen. I thought it really held up extremely well. It wasn't perfect at all. Of course, I sat and corrected everything I did wrong in my head as I was watching. I couldn't help it. But it was hella cool to see. The experience was dope, man. Seeing it blown up like that, you can see certain details that may not matter on YouTube, but on the screen, the big screen, it definitely makes a difference. All jewels to keep in mind for the next feature film in the future. Link in the bio for that. Drop a comment over there and show some love. I'd really appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.